So for those of you who've been around for a long time, you know that I used to love the idea of hacking, coding, programming, all that sort of stuff. Not really the real life counterpart of it, where you're actually boiling away hours every night, trying to get something to work right, trying to figure out what glitches you have in your system. No. I mean just the aesthetic of just zeros and ones flowing across the screen, and just hacking in anime, like video games, movies, all that sort of cool shit. You know what I'm talking about, right? I always knew the difference between real life and fantasy. I just loved the fantasy version of it, of course. And then I actually had to try my hand at real life. You see, I take both an art and technology degree. So, my art and tech degree has like animation, art, graphic design, drawing, and then at the very bottom of the requirements, you have 3 programming classes. So the first programming class I took, it was difficult. I struggled through it. Teacher wasn't much help to anybody, because when you'd ask her for help, she'd just be like, "I'm sorry, I can't help you. You have to figure it out yourself." She would just show us these slideshows of like all these different programming things, and then would just throw us off to try to get us to work on our projects at the end of the class. Luckily, I had people next to me who understood more about what they were doing than I did, so a lot of the times we would compare our programs, and they'd be completely different. Like, one would be doing do-while loops, one would be doing for loops, one would be doing if-else loops. My programming always was like this weird direction that somehow ended up working. The others' programs were way more straightforward and to the point, but I was always able to clean up mine at the end and get it real good, and then send it in. But for whatever reason, throughout the entire class, I always suffered through points. And I had a friend who took the same class as me, just a different time. So whenever I met with him, I'm like, "Hey, what'd you get on this?" And he's like, "I got a 100, and it was weird because I was like missing half the assignment. I didn't even finish the code." And I'm like, "Wait, what? I got a 40 on that same assignment, turned in all 3 parts of it, and just messed up a little bit of the code." And that's what the entire semester was like for me. I kept getting all these low grades and wasn't understanding why. And then when I went to talk with her, she's like, "Actually, I see you missed this. I could give you a lower grade right now," without even describing why I got the other parts of the grade wrong. My friend kept passing by with 100s and 90s and all this shit, while I was getting like 60, 70. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on here? Part of it was that our teacher gave us the most difficult assignment. The very end of the year assignment for a Programming 1 class was to build a Minesweeper game. My team left me in charge of like the graphic design part of it because they couldn't figure it out. But I was with really good programmers who knew how to make everything work perfectly. But the design of that game was so difficult. Not a single other person in the other classes and in our class finished it except for my group. Only because we had an advanced programmer who knew what he was doing, and then was told that he was allowed to use outside knowledge for it too. So I'm looking at all the other people and I'm like, well, I mean, this is an easy 100. I mean, I was able to do all the graphics, I was able to set it all up perfectly, and they were able to do all the coding just fine. Everything went so smoothly. And then I get the grade back. Now, I have people that I was in contact with. The people in my group, 90 and 95. Me, I got an 80 on the assignment. My friend in the other class, he got 100. He didn't even finish his program, and he got a fucking 100 on it. And we finished our program. We're the only people who did. And yet, it got to the point where the grades came out, I'm sitting there with an 80, while there's people with unfinished stuff with like hundreds. I don't know, maybe it was the hair, maybe, I don't know what this teacher had against me, but she had something, because all of that was not fair. But I ended up passing the class at least. So we get to the second class, which was difficult, but it was more my fault for not being able to pass it. I ended up dropping out of the class because I had to take the bus to and from school a lot that semester. So it was, if I like didn't have enough money, if I just missed the bus, I just lost my ability to go to school for the day. It sucked, but I'm a college student that has a part-time job. Because of that, when it got to the end of the class, I realized that it would take me getting 100 on the final project and the final test to pass the class, and I just had to drop. So there's no way I'd be able to get 100 on both of them. And so I decided I would take my programming 2 class again over the summer. But I took an online one at a different college, and guess what? It was actually way fucking easier. I don't know if that teacher was just really tough or something, but it was so easy for me to do. I got an 80, or I think it was 85, something. It was somewhere between 80 and 90. And I got that in that class. And I was fucking shocked. Because I thought I was fucking terrible at programming. But I apparently got lucky with my teacher, because I was getting the programming right, and I was getting hundreds. Just easy fucking hundreds, because I knew what I was doing. And my friend, who was my first programming class, who was part of my group, I was contacting him throughout all the semesters. So I had him for the first semester. We had the same teacher for the second, and so we helped each other out a lot there. And then he's like, yeah, I'm going to be taking the same second teacher, the one that I failed, again for the third semester. And so since I finished the second class over summer, I was able to take the third final programming class with him and my other friend over fall. And let me fucking tell you, I open up the syllabus for the class. You wanna know what the teacher says? You're not allowed to email me. Not allowed to email him, no matter what. Any reason you have? Nope, bullshit. Can't email him. I'm like, okay, what are we supposed to do to contact him then? Guess what we're supposed to do? We're supposed to use the discussion board on the site. So, first week, we have 1 unit. First chapter, we have an assignment and a test at the end of it. Everyone's sitting there on the discussion board like, hey, can you help us out here? Can you help us out here? Can you post an online lecture? Because he did offer those in the syllabus. We're like, hey, can you post an online lecture so we can better understand, because we're not really getting what chapter 1's throwing out. And he's like, not responding. No response for 4 days. And remember, that's half the week. That's half the unit, and there's no response from him. And people are asking these questions on the first and second day. And then we finally get a response from him saying, the online lecture's up. And so people are going to it, and they're like, it's not up. A few more days pass. It is now Saturday. There is now 1 day left until both the quiz and assignment are due. Guess what? He finally sent a message. And he's like, they're up now. So with T-minus 1 day left to get all this stuff in, he finally puts up the lecture. I watch it, and I'm like, there's only one other thing I can do right now, because I'm going to fail this assignment. I don't have time to do this assignment. But there is something that I do have time for. I looked at the review quizzes we had, and I was thinking to myself, if he's too lazy to make the review questions different from the actual quiz questions, I can pass the class. I can get through this quiz at least. So I spend an entire night, an entire work night too, because I work weekends. I spend an entire work night answering every single question. And they're randomized. So let's say there's 80 full questions, right? He gives you 10 that are completely random from the list. So I'm taking this over and over and over and over again 247 times. That's how long it took to get every single answer from there. And guess what? I got a fucking 100 on that quiz. And that's what I did for the rest of the semester. I just rammed into it. I was like, fuck this. I'm going through every single quiz. I'm getting every single answer. I'm doing it. I am fucking doing it. And so, when I was able to get all the quiz answers, I was able to get help from my friends with the programming part of it. And with the quiz and stuff out of the way, I basically have a 62% in the class, which means I would only need 8% to pass. So, I'm getting help from my friends. We're all in this together. And we're doing it. We are the only people in the class with 90s and 80s. Because everyone else is at 20, 30, something like that. At the very end of the class, there was an average score for the class, an average score for us. Mine was like in the upper 80s, I believe. The class was in the 40s. That's how bad everyone else was failing. And this teacher, he didn't put up anything to help anyone. It was so bad people were reporting him for not helping the class, not teaching anyone. And there was no, I should mention, there was no way to get this class anywhere else. Because all the online, it was only available online first off. There was no on-campus, no on-campus classes for it. So everyone was stuck with this teacher, and he was terrible. No one was getting through this except for me, because I got lucky with it. And then it got to the end of the class, and 5 people got reported for cheating because they were copying each other's codes. And honestly, I don't blame them, because they couldn't get fucking help from the teacher. And our class started out with 28 people. It ended with 15. And 5 of those people cheated. And 3 of those people were the only ones passing. Like, you would think this teacher would realize, maybe I'm doing something wrong here. Maybe if I'm teaching such a tough programming class, especially the 3rd iteration of a programming class, that I should be more on hands with them. I should at least check the discussion board every day. No, he didn't fucking do that at all. In fact, I remember for the final project, we were asking him about a bunch of stuff in the discussion board, and then one kid was like, where can I find information on this? And he answers to this kid who only responded who only put that thing up a day ago, saying page 432. That's all he gave for help for the kid. Everyone else got fucked. Like, we were sitting there for days waiting for any sort of response for him. We got fucking nothing. I am amazed I was able to pass that class, because programming, coding, it's shit. It's difficult. I hate it. I want to die. I had to drink fucking... Okay, shout out to Inko's white tea energy, because I was drinking those non-stop. I was pulling multiple all-nighters to get through every single week, because I had to do hundreds upon hundreds of the reviews to make sure I was able to get 100 when it came to the quiz and the tests, and especially the exams. And then after all that, I then had to go to my friends and figure out how to program the mess that he decided to give us. Somehow I was able to do it. I was able to finish that class. Now here we are. Next week, I have a surprise for you guys that might interest you a little bit about a new update in my life. But for now, it's me, your best friend, InfinityBreach here, saying, see you next week.